Um, the opt out is stop paying them to kill you. Seriously, people, you need to stop. Just simply say you're not going to take it anymore. I had the major wake up call. I was going to do a video on Friday about this because on Thursday I had called to the court in Reading because I had gotten a ticket for collecting firewood without a permit. Um, ooh, I'm bad because I burn wood. Yeah, it makes carbon dioxide and puts out some smoke. So it was cold. It was going to be raining and snowing and stuff. So me and a friend of mine, we drove my van up into the hills. We stopped on one of the mining claims that um, are up here. There was wood that was already cut, laying on the ground, had been there for probably several weeks to a month. Um, we picked up the wood that was, as I said, already cut and laying on the ground. We cut about, or picked up about a third of a cord of wood, and a Forest Service officer shows up, and he ends up writing me a ticket for collecting firewood without a permit. And fair enough. I didn't have a permit. I was collecting firewood. I got a ticket. Now, my problem is this, that a $325 ticket when you're on disability and you only make 700 and something a month is a lot of money. And when I talked to them the first time, they said that I needed to make at least a $100 payment a month. I can't do it. It's not possible for me to do that. Um, so I thought my court date was the 10th, so I called in on the 10th, which would have been Thursday. And I asked her what was going on because I had this court date, and she said, "Oh, well, the court date was on the 8th, and it looks like the judge tripled your fine and issued a federal arrest warrant for you." And I was flabbergasted. Just I was blown away. I freaked out. I just, what the hell are you talking about? You know. So she ends up explaining to me that yeah, the fine was $975 and I had a federal warrant. So in order to get rid of the warrant, I had to come up with $325, which was the original fine, plus whatever the fees were. So I managed to come up with that. Thank you to my parents for helping me out with that. Um, so that I didn't get arrested and hauled to Sacramento, which is like a 7 or 8 hour drive from where I'm at. Um, so the ridiculousness of the fact that I'm trying to heat my house. I don't even have a house. I have a camper. I'm trying to heat my camper. I have a kerosene heater which runs about $80 a week to keep that going. Um, I can't afford the electric. It's almost $150 for electric, and so I got some wood. And of my $700 that I get to live on, I'm in the hole every month anyway. I'm having to borrow money in order to feed myself through the month. So and I had the lady who was looking at my files put a note on the file that says, I'm on disability. I get $700 a month. So anyway, the judge uh, triples the fine, issues a federal warrant. I come up with the $350 and get the warrant quashed. So Monday, I go in for this other tickets that I had gotten. These were for I had my license plate light was out, and then I didn't have California insurance, which in Wisconsin it's not mandatory insurance state at the time, so I didn't have insurance. So I got pulled over for the taillight and the insurance, and that's like 700 and something dollars in fines for those two things. And then about a month later, I got pulled over because he wanted to check on the light, which I had fixed and I had insurance. So then he writes me a ticket for no driver's license and no registration, which I have legal, lawful driver's license from Wisconsin. I have a legal, lawful registration for my vehicle from Minnesota. But California says that I have to have California license and registration in order to drive in California. So the way California sets it up is you have to pay off every ticket that you've ever had in any state ever in order to register a vehicle or get a driver's license. So yeah, I was a driver's license protester for years. You know, I've not always been, you know, the straight and narrow type person that I kind of am now. So, um, relatively straight and normal. Um, so yeah, I have some fines that I needed to pay. About $1,200 or $1,500 if you count up all of them from, you know, there was some from Arizona. I had one from North Carolina when I was in the military. There was one from Missouri when I was traveling from back to Wisconsin from Arizona at one point. Anyway, um, so I simply don't have the money to do that, and you know, I literally I can't. I don't even have money to make payments. Um, so I go into court and I'm talking to the judge. I explain a little bit of this, and so I pled no contest to the insurance and the uh, other ticket. With reducing the fine by half, I still ended up being charged between the three things that I ended up being charged with. $1,100 in fines. Now, I don't know if you people really understand what it's like to try and live on disability, but $1,100 in fines. And, you know, granted, she allowed me to start making payments of $20 a month. That's 10 years that I'm going to have to be trying to pay this off. Meanwhile, I can't get a California driver's license in California until I have this paid off. And all the other stuff that I have accumulated over the years. So I literally am looking at every time that I drive being, you know, arrested and hauled off to jail. Now, I personally consider that to be extortion. That's that's you know, a criminal organization charging an exorbitant amount to be able to do something that is something that I should be able to do simply by being a citizen and a resident of the United States and the state that I'm living in. Um, that's that's the reason that this country is going to fail. Is a perfect example of it right there. Disability, and I need to come up with $2,500 in order to even consider trying to get my driver's license, and then getting the driver's license is going to cost me like another $400. I don't understand how California can expect this to ever work. You know, um, it's just ridiculous.